Hi, my name is Tammy Ballman, and today's video is going to focus on the software that I use to create my designs for my jewelry, especially my designs when I etch pieces. I typically will use a image subscription service to find just the right image, and then I usually tweak it a little. I've also drawn images as well and brought them into the software, and what's great about this software is that you can easily trace things. So it's a free software, and if any one of you uses a Silhouette product, you already own the software, which is great. Even if you don't own a Silhouette product, you can still download the software for free, which is pretty awesome, right? Quite easy to use. You can't really export the image as a JPEG or anything like that, but you can print directly from the software, which is what I use it for anyway. I will print images out on glossy magazine paper. I did a video series, a complete video series on how I do that. That is the software that I use to do this. I did go out and buy a new Silhouette machine. I currently own a Curio and I use it all the time. I actually use the software more than the machine itself, but I do use it if I want to cut those designs out in vinyl. And it works great if I have a really bold design that doesn't have a lot of fine lines. It works really well with vinyl. But I do a lot of pieces with very fine detail, so I use the glossy magazine transfer method that I've mentioned before. I did want to show you what I got. I did get a portrait too, so here it is. I haven't even opened the box yet. It's been sitting here for a week and I keep looking at it thinking, I need to get that thing opened and see what it's all about. But I wanted to do it on video for you guys to kind of show you what you get in the box and how to set it up. Now there are videos that I will provide links to if you decide to get a Silhouette. There's the Cameo, which is the biggest machine that they make. It has like a 12 by 12 format. It's great, especially if you want to do t-shirt designs or make stencils to paint wooden signs and stuff like that. Great machine. I just found that that machine was way too big for what I needed, and it just takes up a lot of desk space, which if you look around here I don't have a lot of because I have way too many tools. So I got the portrait, which is the smallest as far as footprint is concerned. The Curio is somewhere in the middle. What's interesting though is the Curio, the actual surface area that you have is 8 by 6. The portrait is, I think it's 8 by 11, but it allows you to use 8.5 by 11 paper, which is perfect because I'm constantly having to cut down my paper. It's annoying. When I design stuff and I print it out on regular paper, I'm only able to utilize a portion of that space. So I think this Portrait 2 is going to be a good fit for what I need. It also has an auto blade, which I'm hoping is a nice feature because then I don't have to worry about setting, the right setting for the blade. It's not a big deal to do, but hey, one less thing to worry about. Why not? So we're going to open this up and take a look. So how cute. We've got like images of things that people have made using the Cameo products, or the Silhouette products, and they have lots of 3D stuff you can do. So kind of cute. And I've used these machines for years and I love them. Absolutely love them. So let's get to crafting. So here we go. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Unboxing is always fun. Alright, so we've got our auto blade, our instructions, our USB cable to connect to our computer. Oh, another thing about this this particular machine is I did get the version that is Bluetooth enabled. I'm hoping that means that I can connect it directly to my computer and I don't have to use this lovely cable. So we'll see. That will be a big bonus because then I can put it wherever I want. So here's the auto blade. Let's check it out. So the auto blade, and it's supposed to set itself. We'll see. And then this little tool, I believe it's used to set the blade height, I guess if you use a regular blade. And it also is, from previous videos I've seen, it's to remove the Bluetooth card. I guess that's what it's called. So we'll set that aside. And get this out of our way. And, oh, hey. Ooh, there's two. Wow. I wonder if that was a mistake. There's another cord. It's exactly the same. Oh, if you guys have a portrait, you're going to have to tell me if you got two. And here's another auto blade. Another little tool. Instructions, we'll set those aside. Now, let's check out the machine. Oh wait, oh yeah, there's more. Okay. This is an important piece. This is the power supply. You definitely need that. So, power supply to make her work. So here we go. Little chunky box. And our power cord. Definitely need that. Alright, now for the machine. Let's get rid of this box. Nicely packaged, so put my necklace back where it belongs. Okay. Here she is. Pretty small. It's not going to take up a whole ton of space, and it gives you, little instructions on where to download your software. Software is very important, and it's very easy to download, and it's very easy to use. And I believe you also get like some images or maybe a month's worth of free downloads or something like that. So we can just take this off. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. So we're taking the lovely instructions off. We'll set those aside because we need to remember, really it's all about the software. So yeah, there's that. Alright, so when we open this up, it's all taped here, and you just remove the tape. No big deal. This machine is really easy to set up. Again, it's all about the software. So let's carefully remove the tape, and we're pretty good. So we've got some buttons over here. This is the power button here. This is a pause, so if you need to pause it while you're cutting, you can do that. This is to eject, this is to load, and then we've got this lovely Bluetooth button, so to pair it. I'm not going to go into, well, maybe I will. Do you want me to go into setting up? I can do that, because I think there are people who just don't even know where to begin with these machines. And I guess they can be a little intimidating if you've never used a die cutter before. But I find that they're incredibly easy to use. And I keep hearing something dropping. And I'm not sure what that is. Hopefully it's nothing broken in there. You hear it? Alright, well, give me a minute to get to the computer and start setting up the software, and join me back in just well, for you in just a second or two. All right, bye. Okay guys, so I said I would come back when I had this set up, but I'm very disappointed. So I thought that I hit the jackpot with 2 of the auto blades and sets of instructions, but I realized they mispackaged this machine. What's missing is the carrier sheet, or the sheet that you stick the paper on. I can't do anything without that. That is key. Very key. You can actually put vinyl through the machine without that carrier sheet, but there's a lot of things I won't be able to do without it. So I'm going to have to package this one back up. And hopefully I don't have to send it back. Hopefully they can just, well then again, it's got something rattling around in it, so maybe I will send it back because I have no idea what that is or if there's something wrong with it. I will set it up at some point and just check it out and send some vinyl through it just to see if it can cut. But so far I am not a happy camper. But I do have a curio, so I will show you how to set up the software, because it's the same regardless of the machine that you're using, and then I will show you some of the things that I do with that software. We're not going to let this stop us from our mission today. Alright? Now that we have our machine, or don't, either way, we can go ahead and download the Silhouette Studio. And this is the key for creating your wonderful designs. Alright, so we're going to go into silhouetteamerica.com. Alright, and so on the screen you'll see, or you can find out a lot about the products that they sell, but what we're looking for is the software. So there is a blue button at the top, it just says software. And you don't have to own a machine to use the software, so which is pretty cool. Now there's different versions that you can get. You can get the basic version, you can get, I think, a designer version, designer edition, and a business edition. There's designer edition plus, and business edition. I actually have a designer edition. Once you buy the upgrade, you don't have to buy it again. It keeps working, and I don't think it was an unreasonable amount of money, but I find that the basic version works for what I need it to do, so you can get away with the free basic version. There are legacy versions available. There's a beta version available. I would not use the beta version just because it's still in test mode, so there's typically going to be bugs associated with it. So just go for the current version, or if you know there's a legacy version that you've used before, would like to continue using, you can try that as well. So, but the current version, you've got it in Mac, Windows 64-bit and 32-bit. So I have a Windows 64-bit machine, so that's what I'm going to click. So if you go to Windows 64-bit, you'll see that in the bottom left-hand corner there will be not a pop-up, but there will be a little notification that the file is downloading. It's an executable. So it tells you, how much is left to download. It's not that big. It doesn't really take that long to download. And as soon as that's done, it doesn't really give you a notification, but you can just click that link down at the bottom and it should pop up with the wizard that steps you through the setup process. So it says, welcome to the Silhouette Studio Setup Wizard, and you just click next to continue. And this is where you want to choose where you want it to reside, And I just go with the default. If you have, say, a different area that you save your program files in, this is where you would want to change that. So just hit next after you change it if you care to, and you're ready to install. So you just hit install and you sit back and let it do its thing. Mine asks me if I want to allow such a thing to happen, so I say yes, I do, and it will install it. And again, it asks you questions, so just answer. If you tell it no, you don't want it to make changes, it doesn't install. So yes, I do want it to make changes. Alright, so if you've had previous versions on here, it may remove those versions and replace them. It's going to extract those files and set everything up for you. So we'll just give it a moment to do its thing. Okay, so it has extracted all of the files, and we just need to hit finish. And it will launch it. The little checkbox was selected, so it launches as soon as it gets done. And we see the little icon show up here at the bottom. Click that, and it's going to tell you what's new in Silhouette Studio 4.3. I'm just going to close it. I don't need to go through it. Okay, that's what you got me for. So now that we have our Silhouette Studio software installed, that was pretty easy, right? We then need to figure out what settings we want to use for whatever machine that we're planning on using. Now, if you're not really using a machine and you just want to use the software for the image editing capabilities, then it's not a big deal. But the mat that it's going to show you by default is the Cameo. Yes, the Cameo, which is a 12 by 12 mat. That's a huge surface. So what I like to do is use the portrait, which is more a letter size. So if you're going to be printing items out, say for a toner transfer resist, easier to use the actual paper size. And you don't even have to change the machine, you can just change the media size. But I'm going to change it over to a portrait, and it's 8.5 by 11. That's the media size, so that's what's going to work easiest for me. You can change the orientation, portrait or landscape. I kind of tend to work in a landscape mode, just because that's what I'm used to with the Curio. So that's what I've switched it to. Another thing that you will want to do is you'll want to set your measurements up. Let's check it out. Under Edit, Preferences. So you want to set your language if it's anything other than English. I think English is the default. You want to say where you want to save your things. If you have a library in Silhouette, and you can save your things there, but I just save to the hard drive. By default, the unit of measurement is in inches. A lot of times I will change this to millimeters, not always, but a lot of times, because especially if say I'm working with stones and I want to take a picture of that stone and bring it in and actually resize it to the actual size of the stone and then design around it, which I do quite often, I change it to millimeters because that's really the standard measurement that is used when measuring stones and just when working in jewelry in general. So that makes it quite easy. If I were going to make, say, a template for a ring band, I would definitely use millimeters because that's what I'm used to using. So you can change that here in the preferences section. For now, I'm just going to leave it at inches. And then your print resolution, depending on what your printer can handle, you can change that here. I typically keep mine at 600. Sometimes I'll bump it up to 1200. Whatever works best for you. So that's the basic preferences. So, you know, that's what we'll use. I talked about, well, I mentioned briefly when we were looking at the preferences, the library. So when you purchase a machine, you actually, I think with most of the machines, you will get a kind of like a gift card that gives you a certain amount that you can spend on silhouette images. So these are SVG images, right? SVG images. They're already cut files. So someone has done all of the hard work for you. You can just purchase those and download them and typically just resize them to wherever you need them to be, and you're good to go. A lot of these files are large, so when you size it down for jewelry, it gets quite small, and there may be some issues with cutting. You'll have to just give it a try because some things cut beautifully and other things not so well. So let's take a look at the store. All right, so I have a, when you purchase a machine, it wants you to, you know, log in and with your account information, and to get access to your library, the same is true. So I think that's it. I can never remember, but I did, obviously. If you're signed in, then you can access any images that you've purchased, and or download it for free based on, you know, the card that they gave you. So you'll have to be logged in order to get to that information, but you can see, let's see, I'm a little lost. Okay, so I just want to get to my library. So I can see here any of my download history, because I know I've purchased items from them before. Because I just downloaded new software, those images do not automatically transfer over when I download the new software. So I'll have to go and download those again. But all of my purchase history has been saved, and you see I've had machines for quite a while, back to 2011. So I have purchased or gotten them free over time. It looks like this day I was really in a mood to spend some money, I guess. So the images are typically around 99 cents a piece, but those are for personal use only images. If you want to use images for commercial use, you'll have to look at the licensing information that's available on these images. Let's just take a look here. So this is just a list of images that I have purchased in the past and downloaded. And you'll see all of these images say for personal use only. And that's because the image that I purchased either only allowed me to purchase for personal use and did not have a commercial use option, or I just chose the personal use option only. Some of them actually do have a commercial use option, but that image will cost you more money. So let's take a look at this one here. So this is a regular cut file, and it is a studio file, so you know you can get a studio file on SVG, but the studio file is totally ready to go, right? It's this silhouette studio file, And here is the personal use. I had only selected personal use. I could have selected commercial use and I would have had to pay $3.96 for the image. But what that allows me to do is to use it in my business and actually use it to create things to then sell. It doesn't give you the right to sell the image itself, but the project that you create based on the image. So there are some options to get commercial images in the software, and I think $3.96 is a very reasonable price for an image. But we're not going to use one of their images today. So, because that's easy, just pull it in there, resize it, print it out. That's not challenging. That's not fun. What I do want to show you is other ways to get images that you can use, because everyone can get access to silhouette images, and so there might be a lot of people out there using them. So one of my favorite ways to get images is to go to Etsy and search for SVG files. So let's take a look at Etsy. All you have to do is just search SVG, and then if you're looking for a specific image, then just type in what that is. So if I were looking for a butterfly, I would just type in SVG butterfly. And then I'll get back quite a few, right? So let's see. But you have to be careful here as well. Not all of these images are available for commercial use. I was looking at these earlier, and I did look at a couple. This one right here, I like the design. I like that it has the silhouette of the butterfly, and then it has like the cut file for the butterfly. It's pretty, it's basic. It looks like it would be great to use for vinyl, for cutting out a vinyl for a vinyl resist. So, but if I take a look at this file, you definitely need to look at the small print. So this is a digital download. What they'll do typically is give you an email with a link of where you can download that file. You'll need to save that email if you don't download that file immediately, because you can't just come back to Etsy to then download the file. You have to download it from the email. So, but you want to look under Learn More About this item. And under Usage, this one tells us you cannot resell, redistribute, share. That's pretty obvious. You can't do that with the digital files. They don't want you to take their files and then resell them. It's not what this is about, right? Can't make the files available for easy copying, Files cannot be resold, redistributed as is, or altered, or resold, redistributed for digital download. No problem. Okay? That's any SVG file that you're going to purchase. But if you look under this section here, it says this is for personal use only. So you cannot print or cut and then sell. No resale of this item. So what this tells me is, even if I use this to, say, etch a piece of silver, that's for personal use only. That is not for commercial use. It's not intended for that. They don't want you making money off of their design in any way. There's plenty of other sites and sellers that have files out there that are for commercial use, so don't get yourself in trouble. You can certainly use this if you wanted to make yourself a necklace or something. That'd be okay. But if you want to make an item and sell it, not okay. Alright, so let's take a look at another one that I know is good for commercial use. This one here, very pretty designs. They also have the silhouette, which is of the background. So that's cool. And that could help you later. So if you look down here at more information, the license is commercial license is included with all purchases. So you're good to go on this one. And you know, it's interesting because the price of this one is actually cheaper, a little bit cheaper than the other one. So price isn't always an indicator of whether it is available for commercial use or not. So just don't get yourself in trouble. It's also not a good idea to go to like Google Images and, you know, download an image or take a screenshot or whatever and create something to sell. It's one thing if you did it just for personal use, but don't sell it. And that's not morally right to do so. And don't, you know, copy other artists' work either. That's not very nice thing to do, right? So that's a second way to get images. And SVG files are pretty easy to use already when you bring it into the Silhouette software. And I'll show you how to do that because I do have some SVG files that I purchased months ago that I haven't had a chance to do anything with. Another way that I like to get my images is through an image subscription service. And this usually gives you a wide range of options. So, you know, I'm not gonna, I use image subscription services, but there are so many, I don't want to just give you one name to use, right? So you can go out there, just do a search on Google for image subscription services, and look, right at the top it gives me the top 7 cheapest stock photo subscriptions in 2019. So, I mean, there are websites that are kind of dedicated to giving you an idea of where to look. Some that probably you've heard of are, let's see, Shutterstock. That one's very popular. I see ads for Shutterstock all the time. And a lot of these are going to have a variety of pricing plans. Whatever, you know, meets your needs the best is what you want to go with. And I would do my homework first and really look at all the options that are available. Take a look at some of the files that they have to see if the types of images that they have available are something that you would use. And Adobe stock subscription is one of them. I think there's iStock or something like that. So do your research here, take that into account, and you can just use JPEG images. With a JPEG, there's work to be done though. But that's where the fun comes in, because you can import a JPEG image and then you can trace it, you can modify it. So with the image editing software, with the Silhouette Studio software, you have the ability to take any image and modify it to suit your needs. Now that we've taken a look at how to get different images and different places that we can find them, the second part of this video series will concentrate on showing you how I use the software to import those images, modify them for, especially for the toner, the transfer toner resist method that I use. Since I won't be covering the machine in this particular video series, maybe when I get my new one in, I'll show you how to cut some vinyl. But for this one, I'm just going to show you how to modify the images using the software. I'll actually go into some of the tools that are available in the software. I'll even show you how to create some of your own images and how to treat text in those images to make sure that you get a proper transfer. So join me back for the second video. If you like this content, be sure and subscribe, like, comment. You can hit that notification bell if you subscribe to get notifications when I release new content. So I hope to see you back. Thanks.